The great hall of the Galactic Council was silent. Thousands of beings from hundreds of worlds waited and watched. At the center platform stood Ambassador Kethris, his old scales pale gray with age. His 3 eyes looked tired, like someone who had seen too much. Before him stood the newcomers. The Kralthari delegation wore their armor with pride. Their leader, Commander Zethrak, stood tall with his forearms crossed. His skin was deep red and his teeth showed when he smiled. The Kralthari had just learned to travel faster than light. Now they wanted to join the council and prove they were strong. Kethris spoke slowly. His voice was quiet, but everyone heard him. Welcome to the council, people of Kralthar. I must tell you something important. It is about the humans, Zethrak laughed. The humans? We have heard of them. They are traders and explorers. They avoid fights. They seem soft. Other Kralthari warriors made sounds of agreement. They had studied the human species. Humans had only a few military ships. They spent more time building farms and libraries than weapons. They seemed weak. Kethris closed his eyes. I thought the same thing once. Many of us did. That is why I must tell you what happened. We call it the human incident. The hall became even quieter. It was the year 2701, about 150 years ago. The Valdrine Empire was powerful then. They ruled 40 star systems. Their fleet had 10,000 warships. They feared no one. Kethris touched a control and a hologram appeared. It showed a large ship floating in space. The ship was white and blue, with gardens visible through windows. This was the colony ship Bright Hope. It carried 50,000 humans, families, children, scientists, teachers. They were traveling to a new world to build a home. They had no weapons, none. The hologram changed. It showed warships appearing around the colony ship. They were dark and covered in guns. The Valdrine attacked without warning. They said the humans were in their space. This was not true. The Valdrine simply wanted to test their new weapons. They thought humans would not fight back. The hologram showed fire and explosions. Then it went dark. All 50,000 died. The Valdrine left no survivors. They thought this would make humans afraid. They thought humans would avoid Valdrine space forever. Zethrak shifted his weight. What happened next? Did the humans run away? Kethris looked directly at the Kralthari commander. The humans did nothing for 3 months. The Galactic Council thought they were too afraid to respond. The Valdrine laughed and celebrated their victory. They forgot about it and moved on to other conquests. Then one day, a single human ship appeared at the Valdrine home system. Just one small ship. It broadcast a message to the Valdrine Emperor. The message had only 6 words, then we know what you did, wait. The Valdrine sent 100 ships to destroy it. The human ship jumped away. But it had delivered its message. Kethris paused. The hall was completely silent now. For the next 2 years, nothing happened. The Valdrine thought the humans had given up. But they were wrong. The humans were working. They were hunting. The humans have something most species do not have. They remember everything, every detail, every face, every name, and they never ever stop. The Valdrine admiral who ordered the attack was named Kelvros. He thought he was safe in his fortress on the Valdrine homeworld. He was protected by armies and shields. But the humans found him. They did not attack with warships. They did not fight the Valdrine fleet. Instead, 50 human soldiers appeared inside his fortress. No one knows how they got past the defenses. They took Kelvros and his officers. All of them. Then they disappeared. Zethrak's smile was gone now. The Valdrine must have gone to war. They tried, Kethris said. They sent their entire fleet to human space. 10,000 warships, remember? The humans were ready. They had spent 2 years preparing. The battle lasted 1 day. When it was over, the Valdrine Empire had lost 7,000 ships. The humans lost 300. The Valdrines surrendered. The humans made them sign a treaty. They had to pay for what they did. They had to give up half their territory. Their empire never recovered. Today, the Valdrine are a small, quiet species. They tell their children stories about the humans. They teach them, never attack the humans. Kethris looked at each of the Kralthari warriors. The humans have a saying. They told it to us after the war. They said, you can run to the ends of the universe, but we will find you. They mean it. They do not forget. They do not forgive. And they will search for years, for decades, for centuries if they must. But they will find you. Zethrak straightened his armor. Thank you for the warning, Ambassador. We will remember it. But later, in their private quarters, Zethrak spoke to his second-in-command. The old fool is trying to scare us. One incident from 150 years ago. The humans got lucky against a weak empire. We are Kralthari. We are stronger. His second-in-command nodded. There is a human mining colony in Sector 88. It is small and far from help. The raid would bring us glory and resources. Zethrak smiled, showing all his teeth. Then let us see if these humans are truly as dangerous as Kethris claims. Prepare the strike force. In the council hall, Ambassador Kethris stood alone, looking at the stars. He had done his duty. He had given the warning. He only hoped they would listen, but he knew they would not. The mining colony Theta 7 sat on a small moon in the outer rim of human space. It was not a beautiful place. The surface was gray rock and dust. But 312 people called it home. They mined rare metals and sent them back to Earth. They had families there. They had built schools and gardens in the domed habitats. On a Tuesday morning, the alarm started screaming. Station Commander Mills ran to the control room. The screens showed 15 ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel. They were Kralthari warships. Mills had never seen them before. He immediately sent a distress signal toward Earth. Then he ordered everyone to the emergency shelters. The attack lasted 6 minutes. The Kralthari weapons tore through the domes like paper. The mining equipment exploded. The living quarters burned. Commander Mills died at his post, still trying to protect his people. Parents died shielding their children. Teachers died protecting their students. When it was over, all 312 people were dead. The Kralthari landed and took what they wanted: food, metal, fuel, and anything valuable. Then they left, jumping into faster-than-light travel and disappearing into the vast darkness of space. Commander Zethrak smiled as his ship raced away. See, the humans are weak. They did not even fight back. Kethris is a fool. His crew celebrated. They had proven themselves. They had resources and glory, and they had left no trail. 3 days later, the distress signal reached Earth. In the Human Defense Directorate headquarters, alarms began to ring. Director Park read the message. Then she read it again. Her face turned white. She pressed a button on her desk. Activate the trackers, she said quietly. Get me Commander Chen. Across the building, in a special wing that few people knew existed, lights turned on. Computer systems hummed to life. Men and women stopped what they were doing and looked at the alert on their screens. They knew what it meant. Commander Sarah Chen walked into the main operations room. She was 40 years old with short black hair and tired eyes. She had been a tracker for 15 years. She hoped she would never be activated again. Tell me, she said. They showed her the images from Theta 7. The destroyed domes, the burned gardens, the small bodies of children who would never grow up. 312 names appeared on the screen. Every single person who had died. Chen's face did not change. She stood very still and read every name. It took her 10 minutes. Her team waited in silence. Finally, she spoke. When? 4 days ago, her second-in-command answered. They had time to run. Good, Chen said. Her voice was cold and flat. Let them run. Let them think they are safe. We have time. The investigation began immediately. The tracker team was special. They were not normal soldiers. They were scientists, detectives, and hunters. They could find a single grain of sand in a desert. They could track a ship across the galaxy using clues that other species would never see. They started with the debris field. Every piece of destroyed metal was scanned. Every chemical trace was analyzed. The weapons had left signatures in the wreckage. Specific radiation patterns. Unique isotope markers. Kralthari weapons, the weapons specialist said. New models. Maybe only a few months old. How many ships? Chen asked. 15. Medium-sized raiders, Chen nodded. What else? The team worked for days. They found a paint chip no bigger than a grain of rice. It had come from one of the Kralthari ships. They analyzed the paint. It had a specific chemical mixture. Only certain factories could make it. They found stellar dust on some of the debris. This dust was special. It only existed in certain regions of space. The Kralthari ships had traveled through one of those regions before attacking. They studied the quantum wake patterns the ships had left when they jumped to faster-than-light travel. The patterns were faint, almost invisible, but they were there. Director Park came to visit after 2 weeks. Do we know who did this? Kralthari raiders, Chen said. A clan-based strike force. Probably from their home world. Can you find them? Chen looked at the star map on the wall. It showed thousands of systems, millions of possible hiding places. Space was so big that it seemed impossible. Space is big, Chen said, but it is not infinite. And they are not invisible. They left clues. Small ones. But enough. How long? Park asked. Chen was quiet for a moment. 3 years. Maybe 4. Park closed her eyes. That is a long time. The people of Theta 7 do not care how long it takes, Chen said. They have all the time in the world now. They are dead. Park nodded. She understood. You have whatever you need. Money, ships, personnel, everything. I just need my team, Chen said. And time. The next day, the tracker ship Perseverance left Earth. It was a small vessel built for long journeys. It had the best sensors in the human fleet. It had computer systems that could analyze 1 trillion pieces of data every second. And it had 8 people who would not stop until they found who they were looking for. The crew knew it would be years. They knew they might spend the rest of their lives searching. They did not care. In the ship's memorial room, 312 photos hung on the wall. Every person from Theta 7, every face, every name. The crew walked past them every day. Commander Chen stood in the memorial room before they made their first jump. She looked at each photo. Parents, children, miners, teachers, normal people who had just wanted to live their lives. We will find them, she said quietly. I promise you. We will find them. The Perseverance jumped into faster-than-light travel and disappeared. The hunt had begun. 14 sectors away, Commander Zethrak sat in his fortress on the Kralthari homeworld. He drank with his warriors. They told stories of their raid. They laughed about the weak humans. Zethrak had already forgotten the name of the place they had attacked. He did not know that someone was coming for him, someone who would never forget. The first year was the hardest. The Perseverance traveled from system to system, following trails that were almost invisible. The quantum wake patterns from the Kralthari ships had faded, but Chen's team could still detect tiny traces. They followed these traces for months, jumping from star to star. Sometimes they found nothing. Sometimes they found a clue so small that it seemed useless. But Chen taught her team something important. Every clue mattered. A single atom out of place could point them in the right direction. They stopped at a trading station called Far Reach. It was a rough place where smugglers and criminals bought and sold illegal goods. Chen's team spent 3 weeks there, asking questions and scanning everything. A young technician named Ramos found something in a garbage pile behind a fuel depot. It was a damaged power cell, thrown away and forgotten. He scanned it anyway. Commander, he said, excited. This power cell has traces of Kralthari energy signatures. It was used in a ship that needed repairs. Chen looked at the records. 15 ships had refueled at the station 6 months ago. The station master did not remember them. But the computer logs showed they had paid with precious metals. Metals that matched the type mined at Theta 7. They came through here, Chen said. Which direction did they go? The trail led to an asteroid field. The team spent 4 months scanning rocks. It was boring, exhausting work. Every day they scanned thousands of asteroids. Most showed nothing, then they found it. On one asteroid there were scrape marks where a ship had landed to make repairs. The metal left in the scrape marks matched the paint chip from Theta 7 exactly. They stopped here, Chen said. They needed to fix something. That means they traveled further than planned. They are running out of supplies. Back on Kralthar, Commander Zethrak had stopped thinking about the raid. His clan had moved on to other things. They traded with neighboring systems. They trained new warriors. The resources from Theta 7 had been used and forgotten. Zethrak heard rumors sometimes. Someone said a human ship had been asking questions at Far Reach. Someone else said humans were scanning asteroids in Sector 45. But these were just rumors. Space was huge. Even if the humans were looking, they would never find anything. Humans give up easily, Zethrak told his warriors. They do not have the stomach for a real hunt. He was wrong. In the second year, the Perseverance crossed through 16 more star systems. The crew was tired. They had been away from home for so long, but they never complained. Every morning they walked past the memorial wall. 312 faces reminded them why they were there. Chen's team found a freight hauler that had seen the Kralthari ships. The hauler captain remembered them because they had threatened him when he got too close. He gave Chen the exact date and time. This helped the team calculate how fast the raiders were traveling. They found a small moon where the Kralthari had stopped for water. The water extraction equipment still had their DNA on it. The team collected samples and analyzed them. Now they had genetic profiles of the raiders. They would know these people anywhere. At a space station in Sector 78, something important happened. The team was reviewing security footage from 18 months ago. It was boring work. Hours and hours of ships coming and going. Then Ramos spotted something. "Commander, look at this." The footage showed a reflection in a window. Just a reflection, nothing more. But Chen had them enhance the image. They increased the resolution 10,000 times. The computers worked for 3 days to clean up the picture. Finally, they could see what was reflected in that window. It was a Kralthari warrior's ID badge. The badge had a name on it, Zethrak, and it had a clan symbol. "We have a name," Chen said quietly, "and we have a clan." With this information, the hunt became easier. They knew who they were looking for. They researched the Zethrak clan. They learned where they came from. They studied Kralthari culture and politics. In the 3rd year, other alien species began to notice the human ship. The Perseverance appeared at stations and colonies across multiple sectors, always asking the same questions, always looking for the same people, never stopping, never giving up. A merchant captain told his friends, "I saw that human ship again. They are still searching. Do they not have homes to go back to?" An alien station master said, "The humans are crazy. They have been hunting for years. Who does that?" But others began to understand. An old Zorvaxian trader watched the Perseverance depart from his station. "They do it because they remember," he said. "They do it because they loved the people who died. That is why they are different from us." The rumors reached Kralthar. Someone told Zethrak that a human ship had visited a nearby system. The ship had been asking about Kralthari raiders, asking about Zethrak's clan. For the first time, Zethrak felt a small touch of worry. "It is probably nothing," he told himself. "Just coincidence," but the rumors kept coming. The human ship was getting closer. It was asking more specific questions. It knew his name. Zethrak went to his clan elders. "The humans are searching for us. They are investigating the raid on their colony." The elders were not worried. "Let them search. This is Kralthari space. They cannot touch us here. We are protected by our fleet and our laws." "But they keep coming," Zethrak said. "They have been searching for almost 3 years. What kind of species does that?" One elder laughed. "They are wasting their time. Even if they find us, what can they do? They are just one small ship." After 2 years and 8 months, the Perseverance finally traced the Kralthari raiders back to their home world. Chen stood in the command center looking at the star map. A red dot marked the Kralthari home system. "We found them," Ramos said. He sounded happy and tired at the same time. Chen stared at the map for a long time. "Calculate the jump coordinates. We are going to pay them a visit." The crew prepared the ship. They checked every system. This was the moment they had worked for. Years of searching, years of following tiny clues across the galaxy. And now, finally, they had found the people who had murdered 312 innocent people. Before they jumped, Chen recorded a message. She sent it to Earth with a simple note. "Target located." Beginning final approach, then she recorded another message. This one was for Zethrak. The Perseverance jumped into faster-than-light travel. The crew was quiet. They thought about the families of Theta 7. They thought about justice. They thought about what they would say when they finally stood before the murderers. 3 days later, the Perseverance dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of Kralthari space. Chen transmitted her message on all frequencies. She made sure every ship, every station, every planet in the system would hear it. The message was simple. "Commander Zethrak of the Kralthari. This is Commander Sarah Chen of the Human Defense Force. We know what you did to Theta 7. We know you murdered 312 civilians. We found you. Surrender yourself and your warriors to face justice, or we will come and take you." On Kralthar, in his fortress, Zethrak heard the message. His blood turned cold. They had found him. After all this time, after all this distance, the humans had found him. Ambassador Kethris had been right. The humans never stopped. They never forgot, and now they were here. The Kralthari Supreme Council met in emergency session. The council chamber was filled with angry voices. Clan leaders shouted at each other. Military commanders demanded action. How dare they? Roared General Krath. One human ship enters our space and makes demands. We should destroy it immediately. But High Chancellor Vorn was more cautious. He was old and had led the Kralthari for 30 years. Tell me about this Theta 7 incident. Zethrak stood before the council. For the first time in his life, he felt small. It was a raid, Excellency. A mining colony. We took resources and left. It was a normal raid. You killed civilians? Vorn asked. They were in the way, Zethrak said. But his voice was not strong anymore. Vorn was quiet for a moment. And now the humans have come for you. After almost 3 years of searching, he looked at the military commanders. How many human ships are there? Just one, Excellency, Admiral Kresh said. A small vessel called the Perseverance. It has maybe 50 crew members. Our sensors show light weapons. Nothing that could threaten us. Wait, then why do I feel afraid? Vorn asked. No one had an answer. Prepare the defense fleet, Vorn ordered. But do not attack unless they attack first. I want to understand what is happening. Over the next 2 days, the Kralthari assembled a massive fleet. 200 warships gathered in orbit around their home world. Destroyers, cruisers, and battleships. Enough firepower to destroy a planet. The Perseverance stayed at the edge of the system. It did not move. It did not attack. It just waited. The Galactic Council heard about the situation. Ambassador Kethris rushed to offer mediation. He sent messages to both sides begging them to talk. Chen received his message. Ambassador, I respect you. But there is nothing to discuss. Zethrak and his warriors committed murder. They will face justice, Commander Chen, Kethris replied. You are outnumbered 200 to 1. The Kralthari fleet will destroy you. Please let the council handle this through proper legal channels. The proper legal channel was not killing 312 innocent people, Chen said. They chose violence. Now they face the consequences. Kethris tried to reason with the Kralthari. High Chancellor Vorn, please. Turn over Zethrak and his raiders. Let them face trial. This will prevent war. Vorn was insulted. Ambassador, we are a sovereign species. We do not bow to human demands. The humans should leave our space. If they do not, we will remove them by force. Then you will make the same mistake the Valdrine made, Kethris warned. You will learn what it means to fight the humans. On Earth, Director Park watched the situation develop. She was in contact with Chen, but she let her tracker commander make the decisions. Park had learned something over the years. When you activated the trackers, you had to trust them. They knew what they were doing. The deadline Chen had given passed. The Kralthari did not surrender Zethrak. Instead, their fleet moved into attack position around the Perseverance. They are going to fire on us, Ramos said. He was scared but trying not to show it. No, they are not, Chen said calmly. Not yet. They are waiting to see what we do. What are we going to do? Asked Lieutenant Wells, the weapons officer. We cannot fight 200 ships, Chen smiled. It was not a happy smile. We are not here to fight them. We are here to send a message. She opened a communication channel. This time she broadcast on every frequency. Not just to the Kralthari military, but to every civilian station, every news network, every communication device in Kralthari space. People of Kraltar, Chen said. My name is Commander Sarah Chen. I am here because of what happened at a place called Theta 7. Your warriors, led by Zethrak, attacked a peaceful mining colony. They killed 312 people. Men, women, and children. I want you to see their faces. The broadcast changed. Images appeared on every screen in Kralthari space. Faces, hundreds of faces. Young and old, smiling in family photos, living their lives. Then the images changed to show what was left of Theta 7. The burned buildings, the destroyed homes, the small bodies. These people did nothing to you, Chen continued. They were not soldiers. They were not a threat. They were miners and teachers and parents. They grew gardens and taught their children and dreamed of the future. Your warriors took that future away. Chen's voice was cold and controlled, but everyone listening could hear the anger underneath. Your leaders tell you this was a normal raid. They tell you this is acceptable. I am here to tell you it is not. We have spent 2 years and 8 months tracking the people who did this. We followed trails across 14 sectors. We analyzed dust particles and paint chips. We enhanced security footage 10,000 times to find a single name. We never stopped. We never forgot. On Kralthar, millions of people watched. Many had never heard about the Theta 7 raid. Now they saw the evidence. The dead children. The burned homes. They saw the names, all 312 names scrolling past. Your government had almost 3 years to do the right thing, Chen said. They could have turned over the criminals. They could have apologized. They could have made things right. Instead, they protected murderers. They celebrated them. Chen paused. When she spoke again, her voice was like ice. The Galactic Council has laws about proportional response. They have treaties and procedures. Humanity does not care about those laws right now. We care about justice. We care about the 312 people who will never go home. I am leaving now, but I want you to remember something. We found you. We crossed the galaxy to find you, and we are not done. The broadcast ended with a final message. We will be back. The Perseverance turned and jumped into faster-than-light travel. It was gone before the Kralthari could react. Admiral Kresh was confused. They left? They came all this way just to broadcast a message? High Chancellor Vorn understood. His face was pale. They were not trying to win. They were making sure everyone knows what we did. They were turning our own people against us, he was right. Across Kralthar, people were talking. Many were angry at their own government. Why had they protected Zethrak? Why had they not told the people about this raid? The images of dead children were everywhere. People could not forget them. 3 days later, every alarm in the Kralthari system started screaming at once. Ships were dropping out of faster-than-light travel. Hundreds of them. The sensors counted them. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 ships. A massive human fleet appeared at the edge of Kralthari space. These were not small ships like the Perseverance. These were warships, carriers and battleships and cruisers. The largest fleet humanity had ever assembled. A message came from the flagship. It was from Admiral Marcus Cole, the highest-ranking officer in the Human Defense Force. This is Admiral Cole of Earth. You have 3 days to comply with our demands. Turn over Commander Zethrak and all 47 members of his raiding party. Accept a war crimes tribunal on neutral ground. Pay reparations to the families of the victims. Allow human monitoring stations in your space to prevent future incidents. If you comply, we will leave peacefully. If you refuse, we will take what we came for. High Chancellor Vorn looked at the tactical display. 500 human warships. His fleet of 200 suddenly seemed very small. They were not bluffing, he said quietly. Admiral Kresh was shaking. What do we do? Vorn closed his eyes. He thought about Ambassador Kethras's warning. He thought about the Valdrine Empire, which had fought the humans and lost everything. He thought about 312 dead civilians that his warriors had murdered for no good reason. Contact Commander Zethrak, Vorn said. Tell him to prepare to face justice. The Kralthari government was breaking apart. In the council chambers, clan leaders screamed at each other. Some wanted to fight. Others wanted to negotiate. Some blamed Zethrak. Others blamed High Chancellor Vorn. We should never surrender. General Krath shouted. We are Kralthari. We do not bow to anyone. Then you will die, Vorn said quietly. And you will take our entire civilization with you. He showed them tactical analyses, computer simulations. In every scenario, the Kralthari lost. The humans had better ships, better weapons, and better training. But more than that, they had something the Kralthari did not have. They had a reason to fight that went beyond pride. They will die for those 312 people, Vorn said. Every single human in that fleet knows their names, knows their faces. They are not fighting for territory or resources. They are fighting for justice. How do you defeat that? No one had an answer. On the second day, Zethrak was brought before the council. He still wore his armor, but he no longer looked proud. He looked like what he was, a murderer who had finally been caught. The council has decided, Vorn said. We will turn you over to the humans, along with all members of your raiding party. Zethrak's eyes went wide. No, you cannot. I am Kralthari. You cannot give me to aliens. You stopped being Kralthari when you murdered children, Vorn said. His voice was cold. You brought this upon us. You and your warriors committed a crime. Now you will pay for it, but I was following our ways, Zethrak protested. Raiding is what we do. It is our culture. Culture does not excuse murder, Vorn said. We are learning that now. Because of you, we all must learn it. But it was not enough. The humans had made more demands. Admiral Cole sent another message. Turning over Zethrak is not sufficient. Your government knew about the raid. Your people celebrated it. Your military protected the raiders. The crime goes beyond 47 individuals. High Chancellor Vorn felt cold. What more do you want? War crimes tribunals for the military commanders who approved the raid. Full access to your military records. Permanent human monitoring stations in your space. And reparations. Not just to the families but to humanity. You need to understand that actions have consequences. The Kralthari Council argued for hours. Some called the demands too harsh. Others said they had no choice. Finally, one old council member spoke. His name was Dresh, and he was known for wisdom. Perhaps we deserve harsh terms. Perhaps we need to learn this lesson. Our culture has celebrated violence for too long. Maybe the humans are teaching us something important. On the third day, High Chancellor Vorn sent his response. We accept your terms. All of them. The transfer happened on a neutral space station. Zethrak and his 47 warriors were taken from their cells and brought to the docking bay. They were in chains now. Human soldiers waited for them. Commander Chen was there. She looked at each raider carefully. She had memorized their faces from the security footage and DNA analysis. She knew these were the right people. Zethrak tried to speak to her. Please, we did not know it would come to this. We thought it was just a raid. Chen looked at him. Her face showed nothing. The people you killed thought it was just another day. They thought their children would come home from school. They thought they would see another sunrise. You took that from them. I am sorry, Zethrak said. You are not sorry you did it, Chen said. You were sorry you got caught. There is a difference. The raiders were taken to Earth. The trial lasted 6 months. The evidence was overwhelming. The humans showed everything. The attack recordings, the DNA evidence, the 3 years of investigation, every detail. The Galactic Council observers were impressed and frightened. The humans had documented everything perfectly. Every step of the investigation, every piece of evidence. It was the most thorough criminal case in galactic history. Zethrak and his warriors were found guilty. The sentence was life imprisonment, not execution. This surprised many people. Why not death? A reporter asked Commander Chen. Because death is too easy, Chen said. We want them to live a long time. We want them to think about what they did every day for the rest of their lives. We want them to remember the faces of the people they killed. The Kralthari government paid the reparations. It was a huge amount. Their economy suffered for years. They had to reduce their military. They had to accept human monitoring stations in their space. They had to change, but something else changed too. The Kralthari people began to question their old ways. The images of the dead children from Theta 7 had spread everywhere. Many Kralthari felt shame. They began to teach their children different values. Strength was still important, but so was mercy. Courage was still honored, but so was justice. Years passed. The Kralthari slowly rebuilt their reputation. They became more peaceful. They joined the Galactic Council's peacekeeping forces. They helped protect colonies instead of raiding them. Commander Zethrak remained in a human prison. He was kept in a small cell with a window. Through the window he could see a memorial. It had 312 names on it. He saw it every day when he woke up. He saw it every night before he slept. The humans made sure he would never forget. 50 years later, Ambassador Kethris stood in the Galactic Council chamber again. He was very old now, his scales almost white. Before him was a new species, the Torvin, who had just achieved faster-than-light travel. Welcome to the Council, Kethris said. I must tell you something important. It is about the humans. The Torvin leader listened as Kethris told the story. The story of Theta 7, the story of the 3-year hunt, the story of how the humans never forgot and never stopped. We call it the Theta 7 lesson, Kethris said. It teaches us something important about humanity. Most species move on from tragedies. They forget. They forgive too easily. But humans are different. He showed them images. The Perseverance, now a museum ship orbiting Earth. Thousands of people visited it every year. Inside, the memorial wall still showed all 312 faces. This ship is 50 years old, Kethris said. But the humans still remember. Children in human schools learn the names of the Theta 7 victims. They study the investigation. They are taught that justice matters more than convenience. He showed them another image, a monument on Earth. It was a beautiful garden with 312 trees. Each tree had a nameplate. Families came there to remember. The humans built this garden, Kethris explained. They planted it 20 years after the incident. Every year on the anniversary, people gather there. They read the names aloud. All 312 names. They make sure no one is forgotten. The Torvin leader was quiet for a moment. Why do they hold on to the past so strongly? Would it not be easier to forget and move on? Kethris smiled sadly. That is what makes humans dangerous, and also what makes them remarkable. They believe that every life matters. Every death matters. They believe that forgetting the dead is a second crime. So they remember, forever. What happened to the Kralthari? The Torvin leader asked. They learned, Kethris said. They changed. Today they are peaceful. They teach their children about Theta 7 too. They use it as a lesson about the cost of cruelty. The humans could have destroyed them. Instead, the humans taught them. That is the other thing about humans. They prefer justice to revenge, but they will have one or the other, always. The Torvin delegation left the council chamber quietly. They had learned something important today. On Earth, Commander Sarah Chen was now an old woman. She had retired from the military 20 years ago. But every year on the anniversary of the Theta 7 attack, she went to the garden. She walked among the trees. She touched each nameplate. She was not sad anymore. The anger had faded long ago. But she still remembered. She would always remember. A young girl approached her. Excuse me, ma'am. Are you Commander Chen? The one who found the people who attacked Theta 7? Chen smiled. Yes, I am. We studied you in school, the girl said. Our teacher said you never gave up. You searched for 3 years. That is right, Chen said. Why? The girl asked. Why did you search for so long? Chen knelt down to the girl's level. She pointed at the trees around them. Because they mattered. Every single one of them. And when someone matters, you do not forget them. You do not give up on them. Not ever. The girl nodded, understanding. Chen stood and looked at the trees. The sun was setting and the light came through the leaves. It was beautiful. That is what makes us human, Chen said softly. We remember, we care, and we never ever give up. Somewhere in the galaxy, other species were learning this lesson. The humans were not the strongest species. They were not the oldest or the most advanced. But they had something that made them different. They had memory. They had love. And they had determination that could cross the galaxy and last forever. The Theta 7 lesson spread to every species in the council. Everyone learned the same thing. Be kind to the humans. Be fair to the humans. Because if you hurt them, if you murder their people, they will find you. It might take years. It might take decades. It might take centuries, but they will find you and they will remember.